With so many bands making a transition to more pop-styled music, are Bring Me the Horizon next in line on the throne, or are they the next to fall by the wayside? What's up everyone, John from Beyond ARTV. It's time for another Thinking Out Loud segment where I take something that I have either seen in the news recently or something that's just been on my mind in the world of music, and I ponder aloud for you guys, with minimal edits just so you get my stream of consciousness. The former deathcore turned alternative rock titans Bring Me the Horizon have recently given a new interview to Kerrang magazine, and in that interview they shed light on the fact that their new album will not be super heavy. In fact, they will instead go more of the route of 21 Pilots, for example. 21 Pilots were able to cross over and achieve great mainstream success without compromising who they are, according to Sykes. Jordan Fish, also being in Bring Me the Horizon, is, I think, a key component in the change in the band's sound over time, and honestly, it's mostly been a good thing up to this point. I've been a big fan of the poppier Sempiternal, and I won't say poppy, just a little bit more clean in terms of its choruses, and then definitely the more poppy alternative rock streamlined album, That's the Spirit. Both of those were great releases, Sempiternal being my favorite of the two, and my favorite album by Bring Me the Horizon to date. I think That's the Spirit is definitely in the running as well, along with There Is a Hell, but they've definitely come a long ways since their early deathcore leaning days, obviously. It's been a big change, and a lot of fans haven't been on board. But are Bring Me the Horizon going to be that next band that jumps on the pop wagon, and are they going to do it justice? Now, personally, my take on the entire situation is, first, my reaction is great. Another band that we're losing, or they're just going to go for a more streamlined, efficient pop sound that's going to be a bigger paycheck for them. Fine, if they want to score some arena-styled pop rock hits, whatever floats their boat. But the second initial thought I had is that this is Bring Me the Horizon, and up to this point, they've shown a lot of creativity for a band that started off with roots that could be called generic, but they've been able to branch out time and time again. So I think that what it's leaving on me now is the fact that I kind of trust them in this water. I think that what they said about a year ago at this point in an interview was that their new album was not going to be a straight up pop record, and that they don't think that they would ever do anything that would just be considered straight up pop. And I still think that that's probably going to be the case. Obviously, it's Bring Me the Horizon. They're not just totally going to ditch the rock roots or anything like that. But there's going to be traces of new stuff in there. And I think a lot of people are saying, oh, 21 Pilots is their influence. I don't necessarily think that's what they're going to sound like musically. It's just that they like the fact that 21 Pilots were able to still get a clear message out there without changing who they were, but they aren't accepted by the mainstream. Now, at the same time, I do have to feel like Bring Me the Horizon could be doing this for monetary gain. Obviously, they want to maybe have a big hit. They want more people to know about them. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to grow your band and your brand, but will it come at the expense of the hardcore fans? Are people going to be let down? Are you going to alienate fans by doing something totally different? Or will you be able to stick to your guns? Bring Me the Horizon have kind of been notorious in recent years for taking a little bit longer with their music and then putting things out there, and then they're like, oh, it's just around the corner for the release, and maybe it taking a little bit longer. And I recall with That's the Spirit, they weren't able to put out the album right away after the lead single Drown came out. At first I thought it would be a one-off single, but they just didn't seem to have a ton of ideas. But here, it seems like they're saying they've got over 30 ideas for songs, or 30 songs that are at least demoed. So it's going to be interesting for album number 6 from Bring the Horizon. It's going to be one of those things where I feel like it could either make or break them. And a lot of bands are hitting their breaking point for me personally lately. A lot of these rock bands gone pop. And this could be another one that we have to add to the pile, or they could be somebody that does it differently. And 21 Pilots are still someone that I will come to the defense of because so many people mock them at this point. Call them cheesy, silly, whatever. 21 Pilots, in my opinion at least, really haven't strayed that far from who they were to begin with. I realize it could cause a quick reaction where you think, 21 Pilots, do I really want my Bring Me the Horizon to sound like that? yeah, obviously that could put a sour taste in your mouth, but I think that there's a second way to interpret that. Like I said, you could take it as this is somebody who is doing what they want to. They're not afraid to be themselves. They're not afraid to put poetry into their lyrics and put something in there that's a bit different than what the mainstream is doing, but they're able to get popular, so it's maybe almost like a little bit of clickbait that they're going to throw out there to get people enticed and win over new fans, but maybe once the album comes, there will be some heavier stuff or some darker stuff buried in there as well. Kind of like Blurryface did to an extent, although I think that that record was maybe a little bit very accessible all points around, but who knows what Bring Me the Horizon are cooking up at this point. Me personally, I would hate to see them go full on pop. I would hate to see them do something that just feels generic and washed out lyrically, void of any ideas, but it seems like they're giving us reasons to trust them, and on this, I think that I'm going to have to lean towards that. I think that with many bands, I would not take them at their word for what they're saying just because of their past actions, but Bring Me the Horizon, even with That's the Spirit, said things were going to be different. And they even said, I think Jordan and Ollie have both said on this album cycle, this upcoming album 6, that all fans are kind of expecting them to do something different at this point because they have continuously been shaking it up since the 2010 album. And I agree with that, and up to this point, they haven't really failed, at least in my eyes. I know a lot of people don't like That's the Spirit or even Sempiternal, but in my eyes, they haven't failed yet. But what do you guys think? Sound off in the comments section down below. This is all just my take on the situation. What do you think about them citing 21 Pilots as influences? And do you think the record is going to be more of like a straight up pop or pop rock album? Or do you think there will be heavier elements as well? I can't help but want heavier elements. That's what I come to Bring Me the Horizon for a lot of the times. I come to them to like a release of anger. You know, I want to listen to something harder, heavier, but at the same time on other parts of their record, you can also get softer moments to lean into as well. We'll just have to wait and see, but I am anxiously awaiting album number 6, which will hopefully be coming out this fall. Don't forget to drop a like on the video while you're here and subscribe to the channel if you are brand new. If you would like to support what I do on this channel and ARTV as well, then please donate on Patreon by tapping that annotation in the corner or else the top link down below. Other than that, you can see another Bring Me the Horizon themed video right here or another recent upload right over here. Socials in the description, and I'll see you soon on Beyond ARTV.